Welcome to the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast, a podcast where we teach speakers how to land paid speaking engagements and corporate contracts. Each week, we deliver high-quality content that teaches you how to level up your speaking business. Be sure to join the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group after having your mind blown by this information-filled episode. Now, here's your host, Ashley Kirkwood, lawyer and professional speaker. This is the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast.
All right, we're getting started. It's the last day of the Sunrise Speaker Series. Super excited about having this discussion. If you can tell, my voice is like taking a small hit from being on for 4 days straight and still doing my final speaking engagements of the year. But I'm excited to have this discussion with you all. And so today, first, let me introduce myself. My name is Ashley Kirkwood. I host the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast. I also own a firm called Mobile General Counsel, where we help business owners building big brands to protect the brand that they're building in a holistic way as their outside general counsel. And what we're talking about this morning is the one thing that consistently book speakers do that's more important than selling. So we're talking about the one thing that consistently book speakers do that's more important than selling. And I'm having this discussion because I think that there's a big misperception in the market that you need to be consistently getting new clients all the time. That's the goal, is to consistently get new clients. And a lot of people actually say that. They're like, oh, well, you want to make sure you're doing business development. You want to get new clients in. And the truth is that getting new clients in is not the ultimate goal. Getting new clients in is not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is for you to overserve and overdeliver for the clients that you have. And so we are going to talk through the one thing that consistently speakers book do to get more engagement. And that one thing is they 100% of the time leverage a system to get referrals. Okay. They leverage a system to get referrals. And not only that, they leverage a system to get referrals, and they leverage feedback to get additional engagements. Okay. And this goes hand in hand. And so what this means is they are not starting off their speaking journey with a client and assuming that that journey ends after the engagement. So if I had to sum up the one thing that consistently booked speakers do that is more important than selling, it is ensuring that you aren't stopping your customer's relationship after the deliverable. You're not stopping it there. You're taking it all the way through. And so they have a clearly defined customer map. They have a process by which they are getting speakers in the door all the way to when the client is going to be rebooked. And if you think about it, it looks more like a circle. So one of the things that we do in the Speak Your Way to Cash Academy is we're going to be mapping out our customer's journey, doing a customer map, almost drafting out like a funnel, but for customers. A lot of people think that there's only funnels in the online business space, but in reality, you want to have a funnel-like map for your customer's journey from start to finish. And that finish should really never be finished. Like, it should almost be like when your speaking clients come into your sphere, they are always a client. They are always someone that you are looking out for, considering, and serving in some way, shape, or form. And so whether that looks like after your engagement, you have an email list or an email sequence that you're putting them on to consistently nurture them, or whether that looks like you have quarterly check-ins with them to make sure they don't need anything. And that may be in the form of a newsletter, or like whatever that looks like, you need to have a system by which someone can work with you once and they always know they could hear from you again. You stay top of mind. And so for me, after our engagement, I immediately book a wrap-up call for feedback, as well as to talk about next steps and to recommend next steps. So I recently did an engagement. I've done a few engagements recently, and I have these feedback calls set up. And one of the things that we talk about on the feedback call is, first, how the event went. What was their gut check about the event? How did they like it? So we get feedback about how the event went. But then after that, we want to talk about what their people need based on my assessment and the feedback that I received during the event. So all during your events, you should be collecting and asking specific questions to the audience. Now it's virtual. So virtual questions that you can figure out more about the individuals that you're serving. And those questions may be in the form of what type of continuing education they want to do next. whether they prefer to have workshops or whether they prefer to have keynotes presentations on a topic, whether they prefer to have discussion-based learning or whether they prefer, like, it could be as simple as, do you prefer to learn with PowerPoint? Do you prefer to learn with videos? Do you like to participate, or are you more of a person who wants to listen to this in an auditory format? Like, you need to learn more about what they like, what they need, and what they want their next steps to be. Because whenever you have a corporate client, there are two audiences that you're serving almost every single time. One is the person that hires you, not the company, the person that hires you. You want to make sure their experience is phenomenal from start to finish, right? So you have to please the person that's hiring you. And to reset the room, my name is Ashley Kirkwood. I own the Speaker Ready to Cash podcast. We're talking about the thing you need to do that's more important than selling, and it's having a process by which you're getting referrals. And so now we're talking about the two people you're serving every time you have a corporate client, the person that hires you and the audience they're hiring you to serve. So those are the two people you always have to be thinking about strategically. How are you going to serve those two people, those two audiences rather? So you need to be thinking about throughout the entire process that you have, how are you going to serve that person? Like, how are you going to make sure that their experience is good? They get their invoices on time. It's not a cumbersome process. They have someone to talk to. You're responsive to emails, which is a huge client complaint that speakers aren't responsive to emails. And I think emails are just overwhelming. We all have a ton of emails. So you have to hire. Like, you can't, I talk about this a lot, but customer service is really important. So you can't just be overwhelmed by emails. And I've seen this. There are people right now who are going through lawsuits because they're overwhelmed by emails. They feel like they're overworked, and so they just do not respond. And that's not an option if you want to have a thriving business in any field. It doesn't even matter if you're a speaker or not. You have to respond to emails. So I harp on that a bit because that is a big complaint that I hear from clients, is that the speakers don't respond to emails. They don't follow up. They don't have any systems. They're not engaged in the entire process. After they give them a yes, they don't know what to do next. So you want to have that customer map, but then you also have to serve the audience. You want to make sure the audience has a good time, because guess what? Even if that audience never gives you feedback, like never, they are going to give feedback to the person who they work with about you and about your services. And on my wrap-up call, the first thing I ask is about their experience, how they enjoyed the presentation, what they liked about it. And then I also ask, what feedback have they received from their team members about the presentation? And they tell me, they're like, okay, got a lot of good feedback. I thought this was excellent. And then you got to ask the hard questions, which is, all right, well, what could I do better? And for those of you listening, I'm doing a Sunrise Speaker Series. This is the 6 a.m. training that I've been doing for the past 4 days. This is the last day. So I asked them, what can I do better? And for what can I do better, you need to phrase this in a way that they really are going to tell you what you can do better. Not like, what can I do better, but don't tell me anything because I really just want to be told that I'm excellent at everything. You know what I mean? That's not going to work, and that comes off. So you want to say like, hey, what can I do better? By the way, I love critical feedback because it really does help me to serve people on a higher level. When you give them that permission to give you feedback, they will give you feedback, okay? And so that is a critical piece to this recap conversation. And let me be clear, these recap conversations should be happening after each and every presentation. When someone gives you money, you want to get recap feedback. You want to learn what you can do better. And so that's something that you should keep in mind. And then after you do that, so you've talked about what they liked, what their audience likes, what you can do better. Then you want to talk about formal feedback. So this is where you ask them to give you feedback that you can use on your website. And that's going to be important. And this is like formal written feedback. I typically do video testimonial feedback on site. I always bring a videographer wherever I go. I typically reserve 10% of whatever someone is paying me to bring a videographer and record the entire experience. And quite frankly, I am considering for my next engagement doing something like that, even for my virtual presentation. And I'll be honest and say that right now, my virtual presentations, I'm getting good. I'm getting really good budgets for these. But even when I wasn't, honestly, what I would do, so if you're just starting out, you're like, I need a videographer. I don't have $700 or $1,000 to spend. The budget that 10% is less than $1,000 of my budget. What I would do, and I did this also for ease of use, and because I was speaking all over the country, so I was traveling so much last year to speak. I would go on Thumbtack, look at reviews, interview a few people. Well, I wouldn't do it. I would have my admin do this, and then she would just find the person with the best reviews who was the most responsive. And then I would just get someone off Thumbtack to be my videographer. And I did that because I had to find people in different states quickly, and I needed to know that they were good. I didn't have any problems with work output by doing that. everyone that I hired from there, by looking at their reviews, looking at their website, it was very good, like their actual work product. Now, some of them had more professionalism than others. Some of them just didn't have good, like it was just one. It was in Miami. He was just not my favorite, but everyone else was really good. And I recommend this guy named, I think it's Joseph, in New York to most of my speakers now. He's just fabulous. I still use him. He like edited lipstick off of my teeth when I did a presentation with lipstick on my teeth. It was like, he's fabulous. But anyways, you want to get a videographer. But right now we're all virtual, so you may not be able to do that. So formal feedback may look like them filling out, and I'm telling you, like it could be filling out a review form just to give you feedback, which is fine. You want them to write out their review. That's totally fine. But then here's the other thing. You want to find out, after you do the formal feedback, you do all that, then you want to go through and figure out, all right, cool. So now let's think about next steps. What I learned from giving the presentation and what I deduced from hearing the questions people were asking and seeing the level of engagement is your next step should be X. This is what I highly recommend you all do next. I'm more than happy to facilitate the discussion. What are your thoughts on that? And they're like, yeah, okay, definitely. That's what I want to do. But then you learn about any obstacles that may come for them actually getting it done. So companies have a lot of moving pieces, one of them being that people change jobs. And so the person that you work with now may not be the person that you work with later. And that's why these conversations are so critical. I found out this week, 2 of my clients at 2 different institutions have gotten promotions. And so they're both leaving the company. But because they both like working with me, and because I don't only work with one person at either organization, this is another pro tip. While everyone's trying to pitch this one person or whatever, you need to have at least 2 to 3 people within an organization that know how amazing you are, so that one, when they get a promotion, you get a promotion. What do I mean? I do good work. When people leave, when my clients go to other schools or go to other companies, they enjoy their experience with me. And so what do? They literally bring me in. One of my clients was like, hey, I'm switching jobs. I don't even have a budget yet, but when I do, I'm giving you a call. Like literally, I didn't even ask. I did not ask. I just said congratulations. And so that is what I'm talking about when it comes to serving the people that you have before you. So everyone who's like, oh, I lost speaking engagements during COVID, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Well, what did you do? Because even if you lost a speaking engagement during COVID, that doesn't mean you lost a speaking engagement during COVID. What that means is during COVID, there were some pauses that happened in budgets. There were some pauses that happened in industry. And so they couldn't bring you in at that very moment. But what I did when COVID hit, even though that engagement couldn't happen, I stayed connected to all of those clients. And it came back around and the budget was even bigger next time because people felt bad. People were like, man, not only that, they felt bad, but then also like they recouped funds, because a lot of companies that stopped spending in the beginning of this realized later, like, okay, well, now we've done nothing and we have this budget to spend before the end of the year. So if you focus on the loss in any respect, this is for every business. If you focus on the loss, you will always lose opportunity. If you focus on the loss, you will always lose opportunity. There are so many people, think about it in life. People focus on loss all the time. If you ask someone how they're doing and every time it's bad, even before COVID, like, girl, it ain't been a pandemic for the last 7 years. Every time I talk to you, it's bad. Every time I talk to you, you focus on loss. Every time I talk to you, there's never a reframing of the mind. And so for people like that, it becomes extraordinarily difficult to see opportunity because they're always wearing glasses that are fogged up with loss. Yes, the pandemic was hard. Yes, you may have lost business. Yes, you may have even lost people. You may have even lost people. You may have even lost friends and family. I've had very close friends and family get COVID. And the initial response from me was very like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? It's like, how am I going to? It was really, when I found out close family members of mine had the coronavirus, it was more so like, I immediately went into like, what if mode. So what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? What if that happens? And I had to, 1, pray, 2, pause, and 3, realize I cannot worry about things that have not literally happened to me yet. All that does is cause anxiety. So I have to focus on the opportunity. I have to focus on the opportunity to still talk to them while they're here. Even though I can't see them, I can talk to them. I have to focus on opportunity. These principles in business that I talk about are principles that I have to utilize in life so that I can stay focused on impacting the people that I'm supposed to impact while I'm on this earth. So some people just focus on loss. Other people focus on opportunity, and that transcends business. Back to this process. You want to get the formal feedback, of course. Then you want to make recommendations, obviously, about what they should be doing next, the next steps that they should take with you. And the other thing that you want to do and this is something that came up recently for me that was golden, you want to start talking to them more about the structure of their organization and the future of their organization, especially right now, because now you're going into 2021. So this is the bomb time to talk to them about, all right, cool. So, all right, you're getting a promotion. That's awesome. Who's projected to fill your spot? I can't wait to meet them. So don't even, like, a lot of people, this is the other thing, just in terms of corporate selling and all that stuff. A lot of people do something called like suggestion-based selling. I think it's a confidence thing. So instead of you saying, I can't wait to meet them, whoever's taking their spot, instead of you saying that, I can't wait to meet them, you would say, some people would say like, oh, do you mind if I get an introduction to blah, blah, blah? No, you're going to get an introduction. You do great work. They want to help you. And this is the mindset reframe that every single one of you in this room needs. When you are offering your services to an individual or to a corporation or to Oprah or to Mark Cuban, it doesn't matter who you're talking to, you are giving them an opportunity for transformation. And I know that you all may have heard that from someone who, like, I don't know, talks about mindset a lot, or you hear these things. But if you believe that, then you don't go to people cowarded over like, oh, please, can you please work with me? Do you mind this? Do you mind that? You're trying to help them. Yes, they're going to pay you for it. And let me tell you how, this is how I think about spending money and investing money. And this is how a lot of business owners and decision makers think about investing money. If all I have to do is pay for something to solve a problem, then it's not a problem at all. And I'm glad to pay it. Let me repeat that, because some of you have bad money mindset because you work with people who are broke all the time and they've convinced you that paying is a problem. Let me repeat. If all I have to do to solve a problem I have in my life or in my business is write a check, then it's not a problem. And that is the mindset of the person that you want to work with. Now, if you approach it in the way that money is a problem, how do you do that? Because you can put that energy on your clients and then money becomes a problem. So if you approach it like, oh, well, my rate is, I'm not sure, and I don't know what's included, and I don't know how it'll transform you, then yeah, the price is a problem because they're not seeing it as a solution, which is why I teach solution-based selling and solution-based speakers. But if all I have to do is write a check and the problem is solved, it's not a problem. Let me explain. I can't write a check to like solve for my health necessarily. If, God forbid, someone I knew got COVID, if I could just write a check and they would be healed, it's not a problem. You know what I mean? But it's not a problem because I have resources. So what does that mean for who people, like for who you're selling to? You need to target people with resources. I personally do not sell to people without money. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't market to people without money. I don't talk like someone who is trying to sell to people without money. And why don't I do that? Because I just want to, this is a bit of a tangent, but if anyone has a question, you can always ask me, come to the stage, make a comment. But I just want to help someone out on this Thursday morning. It's the last day, so bear with me. We're about to go there. And click that plus button in the bottom corner of Clubhouse and invite everyone in this room who needs to hear about how they're about to change people's lives and about how we gonna get rid of all money mindset issues on this good Thursday morning. Okay, I'm gonna go here for a minute. I do not sell to people without money, period. I may serve people without money, but I do not sell to people without money. What does that mean tangibly? I do not speak to people without money in my marketing, okay? I just don't. And the reason I don't is because it doesn't make sense. And I believe it's usurious. Now let's talk about why it's usurious. The reason I loathe payday loan stores and all of these like little bad loan sharks and all of this crap and slumlords and all of that is because they sell to people without money and they charge them usurious rates knowing they can't pay it. And then they make them feel bad for not repaying the loan. Well, that is usurious, unethical, and to me, very shady. Though it's legal, but it's not ethical. I'm a lawyer. I like to operate in the realm of ethics. So I am held to a standard that's higher than the law, just like as a principle thing. So I am not going to sell to people without money. So I'm not talking to you like, oh, if you're a speaker and you're broke, go out, get a payday loan. You need to do this program that's going to change your life forever. No, my programs are $15,000 or $20,000. My legal services are $5,000, $10,000 or $15,000 a month. I have a course that can serve people at like $1,200. But for the most part, My stuff is expensive to some people, but it's an investment to others. So I'm not talking to you all in a way that's like, I want you to go and give me your rent money. Absolutely not. But if you want the transformation, there's going to be a transaction. I don't feel bad about that. You shouldn't feel bad about that, because guess what? If all you have to do is cut a check to get some information and solve a problem, it's not a problem. And that's the exact same for your corporate audiences. You should be selling to director level individuals, C-suite individuals who want to write checks and get rid of problems, because that is how high level individuals in corporations operate. What do? They identify problems. Then they identify solutions. Then they find or reallocate resources to solve the solution. This year, the pandemic hit. So a lot of companies that I traditionally work with weren't traveling a lot. So what did they do? They took the travel funds, used that to pay me to come in and talk about communication. Well, why communication? Because this year, we had a lot of racial that came to the global stage this has been going on for a while. That came to the global stage this year. So companies realized, okay, I need to deal with this problem. And let me be clear, it was not because these are good companies. It wasn't because they all of a sudden woke up and was like, we really want to have equity. It was because it was impacting productivity. If your employees are coming to work and they're more upset about what's going on to their people than what is going to get them paid, then they are not going to be productive. So you at minimum, the de minimis solution, right? If I were to use legal terms, would be to bring someone in to at least show that you care a little bit about what they're going through. And so the solutions that you all have to offer, it may be soft skills. I talk about communication with love. I'm not going in and teaching astronauts how to, launch the ship, right? And a lot of you are teaching about productivity, joy, peace, mental wellness, which is like epic. So these companies are sitting back, and their problem right now is the people. The people aren't being served in a way that they can show up and work effectively. So what do you have to offer? What's the solution you have to offer to assist that? And to be real, and I tell clients this, it's not going to fix it. You can't expect me to come in 90 minutes, regardless of what you pay me, and fix all of the issues within your organization. But what you can anticipate is I will start the conversation, give people tools, and facilitate an environment where they can be heard. And that does have a very real impact on their experience within your company. So what you all have to offer is big. Do not worry about selling to people. Like, you want to make sure that you're doing, at the end of every presentation, at the end of everything that you offer your clients, you want to be asking them about, you want to recommend next steps. And then you want to be finding out what is the future of the organization look like to facilitate those next steps. And then you want to see if they have any ideas about how you can help other companies with a similar solution. And guess what? They're going to have ideas. And you're going to write down those ideas and then act upon them. I've gotten some amazing ideas from clients about who I should collaborate with, who I should speak to next, some issues they found in looking for the services, like the services that I offer, the companies they reached out to before me that didn't have the services that they felt should have had the services. So now I can reach out to them and partner. I've gotten ideas about conferences I should be speaking at, people I should be meeting. They've given me names of who I should follow up with next. And guess what? Corporations, similar to colleges, are similar in that they all have departments. So it's like a corporation, one department may bring me in, but there's 75,000 other departments, right? I'm being dramatic, but there's other departments. So now I can go to all the other department heads and talk about the experiences one department had and expand my reach within the organization. Same with colleges. You come in through one department, but there's a variety of other departments. There's a variety of other ways you can serve. Your clients will tell you all the ways that you can serve if they really believe in the mission of what you do. Now, if they don't, then that's a problem. But that's also why getting the first engagement is easy. Getting the second engagement tells you whether or not you're good. So if you're only booking one time all the time, there's a problem there. And the problem is, for most people, I don't like change. Like, literally, y'all got to put yourselves in the CEO seat. I don't like change. I don't like changing bakers. I don't like changing hairstylists. I don't like changing anything. If you're good, I want to use you basically forever. Like, I'm a forever client. And because I'm a forever client, I know how to make forever clients. And so what you want to figure out how to do, and the thing that is most important to do, is to make forever clients. And really, forever clients genuinely become friends. They genuinely become family. And the wrong clients should not be forever clients. If it doesn't work out, the relationship isn't good, then don't do all this extra stuff I'm talking about, because that's not gonna serve you at all. So I've given you guys some things to think about. I'm going to stop there. Do you have any questions or any comments? My name is Ashley Kirkwood. I host the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast. I'm super excited about being here today. This is the last day of the Sunrise Speaker Series. We've gone 4 days straight at 6 a.m., been consistent with it. Man, it's been fun. It's been a lot of work as well. If you're just joining and you're like, this is dope, I want to learn more, just text speaking to 312-847-4590. Just text speaking to 312-847-4590. And that number is also in my bio. So if you click my picture and scroll down, you will see the 2 ways you can text me to learn more about what I do.
Hey guys, I want to come in really quickly and tell you all about the Speak Your Way to Cash course. This course is for speakers who are looking to consistently book paid speaking engagements. In short, if you are ready to speak your way to cash, this is the course you need. There are over 17 modules, you heard that right, 17, that cover getting clarity in your speaking career, branding through the press, a 7-figure sales panel, selecting your niche and finding engagements, selling your signature speech and building it out, onboarding and offboarding clients, implementation and taking it to the next level. And then let me tell you about the 10 bonus trainings that encompass the 17 trainings that you're going to get. The bonus trainings cover things like branding as a speaker, the best tools for finding engagements, determining whether a topic is viable, speech writing for success, speaking techniques, self-publishing for speakers, sales success, landing association and college clients, navigating the conference market, and so much more. You even get the exact pitch templates that I use to land college clients over and over again, and the press pitch templates that I use. So look, you can get this course by going to ashleynicolekirkwood.com/SYWTC course. ashleynicolekirkwood.com/SYWTC course. Or just enter Ashley Kirkwood Speak Your Way to Cash course in Google and it should come right up. Thanks guys for listening. Let's get back to this interview.
One of the things that I'll say about that is, one of the ways that I do that is before I do a presentation or a speech anywhere, I try to, in terms of, the question is like, how can you, or the question I'm going to answer is, how can you meet additional people in the organization? Before I do the presentation, I actually try to talk to a few people who are what I like to call boots on the ground, so that I can tailor it to their experience. And I like that person to be someone in leadership, someone in management, and then someone who's representative of the employment body generally. And the reason I do that is because it gives me a really easy and good reason and good excuse, if you will, to find out more about the organization, but also deepen those relationships right from the start. That way you don't have to wait until someone leaves, because if you wait till someone leaves, it's tough when there's a transition. It may not be top of mind. I agree with that for the most part. There's one guy, he's a speaking coach as well. I can't think of his name right now, but he wears the purple. But one thing he said, he was like, he follows up every day. He was like, it's not Christmas. Everyone doesn't celebrate Christmas. Everyone doesn't celebrate Kwanzaa. Like, he follows up every single day. And I don't necessarily do that, but I do recommend that if someone says they're going to meet with you or send an email, I always take that obligation on. And if someone says they want to have a follow-up meeting, I schedule that follow-up meeting while I'm on the call with them. And I put it on the calendar, so that it's like on there and set, because people do get busy and it's innocent. We just had like a $13,000 contract, and it's for a one-time engagement. So I think it's like 45 minutes. And that I wouldn't have gotten that engagement if I didn't like follow up. But I mean, it's like $13K, 45 minutes. And then the relationship is going to grow after there. There's some additional things we're going to do for them after that. But I had to follow up like literally every couple of weeks just to keep it top of mind. So don't be afraid to follow up ASAP. Start at the highest level you can. So don't start at the bottom. Like, a common theme with me, guys, don't start at the bottom, start at the top. Like, that's always going to be the theme. So start at the highest level. If the conference is put on by, it depends on who it's put on by. If you know the person organizing it, I would start with them. If they're like the CEO of some big company and they're super busy, I would send them something in the mail. And then you can always say in your initial email to them, hey, I see that you do this conference. I already spoke last year. I know that I have some ideas about how to make it better, some of which I think would help the conference to reach more people. Who do I speak to? Is that you or someone else? And then they will either forward that information on or they'll actually talk to you. But I think you need to have a hook in there. It shouldn't be more than 2 sentences, but you should have a hook in there that's like something that they genuinely care about. And you'll want to think about like, one of the things you can do is come up with like, or Google like hotel organizational chart. And that should give you a hierarchy or some ideas about some job titles that may be in the hierarchy about like who you should be targeting, like who really is the top of the food chain, and or just Googling like who does the general manager of a hotel report to, and then utilize that job title and search Google for the name of that person at the company. So if you put into Google, we'll use general manager, even though that person doesn't have budgetary authority, because it may be like CFO or something like that, but general manager, LinkedIn, Hilton, Chicago, like those 4 terms, you're going to get a list of names. And what you'll see is that some hotels have a variety of general managers. Like one hotel chain can have a variety of general managers depending on the region. So there's a lot of different ways to get that information. And then when I reach out to the person who's above them, what I would say is like, hey, I spoke to so-and-so who is a general manager at blah, blah, blah. We talked about this. Would you be the person who's assisting with budgetary approvals for X conference ? I wouldn't go into like, and I'm a speaker and I'm this and I'm that, because they don't care about that yet. But you just want to get the information about who you should be speaking to first. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a couple ways to approach this. Number 1, the general principle that I live by is I do not sell to people without money. That's first off. So you cannot ask people without money about your prices. That's number 1. Number 2, there's a couple ways to approach it. One is more pragmatic, and then one is going to be a little bit more like based on you. So the first is market research. You can literally hire a VA off Fiverr or Upwork or whatever, pay them whatever they charge. Like for market data research, some people will just charge, they charge a lot less. And you want them to go and find 100 life coaches, right? And of the 100 life coaches they find, they should give you their website, they should give you their name, and they should give you their rates. And if the rate is not listed on the website, this person needs to email them and find out their rates. They don't need to tell them why. They don't need to do any of that. And then you're going to have a chart, and then you're going to look at the average of that amount, right? And then I want you to look at the life coaches on that list of 100. And you're not going to do this. You're going to hire someone to do this. It's not going to be a lot. You can use something like Fiverr. You're going to look at the average of all of those life coaches. And then you're going to ask yourself, well, am I average? Well, obviously not. You're here. You're above average. Then you want to look at the top 25 highest paid life coaches. Okay. And then what are the common threads amongst them, and figure out how you can position yourself in that bucket and what that looks like. And the way that you're going to position yourself may be multi-pronged. So who do they partner with? Who are they going live with? What type of platforms do they leverage? Do they do podcasts, or are they blogging? Who are their clients? What's the profile of their clients? And when you see the profile of their clients, then you're going to be like, all right, cool. So then that's who I need to talk to. Those are the only people I need to talk to in my marketing, are people who have similar characteristics as these folks. But the other thing may be, and this is something that I recommend to therapists as well. Like my therapist is thebomb.com, went to I think it's Dartmouth or Duke, some amazing school. She's awesome at what she does. But the rate for therapy isn't that much. It's very, it's like maybe under $200 per session. Honestly, I would pay more. You know what I mean? So it could just be that you need to not brand if you find that the average rate is just low in general for your industry, which I think for life coaching, it's not that high. Like I have a friend who said she get like 6 or 7 sessions for, a couple thousand, if not less. But if the average in the industry is low, then you need to position yourself outside of the industry. And outside of the industry may look like, instead of looking at life coaches, you then start to look at executive coaches. You start to look at productivity coaches. You start to look at different names for what you do that charge more because they're outside of the average. Because what I find is that people feel like I do trademark law at Mobile General Counsel, and there's a lot of trademark lawyers online, and their prices vary greatly. But at the end of the day, the reason why people come to me over, I look at my clients literally from last year to this year, we've had several clients that have 10x their revenue. And we've been there every step of the way with legal strategy. And one of the things my friend told me, she's a huge marketer. You all have seen her on Clubhouse, but she was telling me, she was like, you're one of the only lawyers whose clients give testimonials about how you help make them money. And I was like, I bet I am. You know what I mean? That makes perfect sense. People come to me not just for the legal acumen, but the strategy behind it and the service we provide all along the way. Ain't no other lawyer out here like that. Actually talking about licensing and leveraging and making the clients money and clients 10xing revenue, not a single woman out of business during the pandemic. Our contracts cover pandemics. We didn't know it was going to be a pandemic. But I'm exceptional at that. And I think that there are some things that each and every one of us in this room are so exceptional at that ain't nobody coming close to touching it. But we don't always talk about it in a way that lets people realize you're not even paying for my time. You're paying for the opportunity to be a client of mine. Let's be real about that. And it's not like, you're better than your clients. This is an opportunity to be a client. But no, you're paying for the opportunity to get my intellectual property on a 1-to-1 ratio that will transform your life. It's a service. There's a reason why it's called service. It's a service. So you want to make sure that your pricing doesn't diminish the service, because when the pricing diminishes the service that you provide, people don't implement on a high level. And why don't they implement? Because it's undervalued. So some of you, Clubhouse has made it so that people can give high level information and high level gems, and it's common. And so there are some people that are going to take notes and implement, but there are other people that are like, all right, I need to buy something from this woman so that I can get to the next level. And most people buy because they're like, all right, I know that if I invest, I'm going to be expecting a return on my investment. But if I just get something for a low cost or for free, I don't expect a return on my investment. And you have to think about it, what is the return on your investment? So the second thing you can do outside of market research would be to just figure out your money goals. You want to make, I don't know what it is, but $200,000 a year on the coaching side of things. And if this may be a low number for you, I don't know. But if it's $200,000 a year on the coaching side, but then you only want to work with 10 clients, then 200,000 divided by 10, that's how many clients you're going to have to sell. You know what I mean? And then it looks like, all right, well, if those are my goals and I only want to work with 10, and I say 10 clients because here's the thing, working with a whole lot of clients requires, I think, a team in order to do it on a high level. And I don't like doing things on low levels. So if you wanted to do 10 clients a year, you wanted to make $200,000, that means your average client value needs to be $20,000. There can be a lot of different ways that you create packages that are worth that, but then you want their return to be significant as well. So what's worth $20,000 to the people that you want to serve? And for most people that are high achievers, it's clarity, peace, and big ideas. Honestly, I pay for coaches for ideas. I don't even care if I'm not paying for the coach to transform my business. I'm going to transform my business, but I'm paying the coach for ideas and for strategy and for direction. But I'm going to do the work to transform the business. So you want to, those are the two ways I can approach it. First one is very tangible. People can get behind it because they can see it. The second is pretty much all about you. What do you want to do and how do you want to make it? And if you take that approach, you're going to have to position yourself probably not as a life coach, because everyone's heard that. And I think people are used to paying life coaches and therapists lower rates than that are warranted. But there's opportunity for you to really transform how you present yourself to an audience. But knowing what other people are doing in the market is helpful because it helps you to identify your competitive advantage. I don't look at market research as a way for me to figure out what to copy of other people. I look at it as a way to figure out what is missing from the market that I can uniquely provide that no one else on the market can provide like me. And that's where I go. Toastmasters is awesome. Toastmasters talks a lot about the art of public speaking, not the business of it. So Toastmasters is big on, the art of speaking, but it doesn't teach you how to make money from speaking. It's just totally different. So that is essentially the difference. Toastmasters is great, though. I actually am in the final rounds of a pitch with them. So they're great as a national organization. I like them. Hopefully they'll be a client soon. Okay, so first of all, I'm about to look, Marquita girl. We are not going to be working for free. So let me tell you something. Because you are the exact person that I work with in Speak Your Way to Cash Academy. And I say that because we have 2 therapists in the program right now and 1 life coach who I adore. The life coach is Brittany Sherrill. She's off the chain. She's really dope. And she has been rocking with me for a while. So I always talk about Brittany. If you see my ads, when I start running them again, you'll probably see Brittany. But we have 2 therapists, 1 life coach, and we may have more. And then we have let me tell you who we have in the academy. And I'm going to set the stage for you guys. Right now, it is all Black women, even though I do work with women and men. And at my event, we did have men there. So shout out to the guys that are coming, right, and joining us in this group. But, women, if we want to do something, we take action. We got our credit cards out. We ready to go. So we have all these women, Black women. Every single last one of them has an advanced degree. Every single last one of them. And so I say that to say, though, there is this mindset amongst us that if we achieve, we have to reach back and help others before we have solidified our foundation. The reason you cannot afford to do things for free, if you really want to help people, is because your ability to help people expands astronomically with either your wealth or your influence. But for a lot of us, based on the work that we do and based on the influence that we have now, we have a higher probability and propensity to get wealth than we do to just grow influence. And sometimes it happens at the same time. But like, I'm not a political activist. So I'm not like Dr. Martin Luther King. It wouldn't matter. I don't know what his bank account looked like, but he had amazing influence, even if he didn't have a whole lot of wealth. I'm not in that lane. I'm not a pastor either. So my lane is like corporate. Like that's what I do. Like I am in the for-profit business. I build companies. I help people build their speaking businesses. I help people protect their businesses on the legal side. And so my ability, when I think about influence and income, my influence has gone up with my income. But when you have money, you're able to impact and help so many additional people. The reason you can't work for free is because honestly, you will never be able to sell on a high level if you don't feel like your needs are met and served first. It's just what it is. But don't think that helping people means that you have to give them something for free. Guess what? Rich people need help too. Big companies need help too. But if you allow large corporations with budgets and with money and with resources to underpay you or to not pay you, they will never pay you. And this is as a general rule. Every now and then you'll find a company that'll come up, but most companies, and it's not a company, let me be very clear. Sarah in the accounting department who wrote the check for $500 for you to speak is not mentally capable of writing the check in most instances for $50,000 for you to speak. Not because Sarah doesn't have the money, but because Sarah doesn't see the point. Because we've allowed Sarah to get something for $500 and we are dealing with employees. The employee mindset still plays a role in this. Employees are the people that we're selling to. They are the ones who are trying to figure out why would you even get and deserve a check for that amount when they work X amount of hours and get paid X amount of dollars. This is why it is critical. Now I'm back on a soapbox, guys. It is so critical that when you speak to these companies, you speak to them as the CEO of an organization with employees so that they respect you as such. I don't care if you don't have a single employee. Every conversation I've ever had with the company has included we, us, them, our department. You know what I mean? Like, because when you do that, they're not looking at it like, oh, Marquita doesn't need $7,000. Why would I pay her that? I only get $4,500 every 2 weeks and I've been here 10 years. You don't ever want them to go there. You are the CEO of an organization. You have employees and departments. You have people that you have to feed internally and externally. And this is why you need to start at the top of an organization, because I don't think the CEO of Pepsi would come and pitch the assistant at my company to do anything. They're looking only for the CEO, only for the C-suite. And you are a CEO too. The reality is most of us are just in pre-billionaire status. Whether we reach it or not has everything to do with our confidence and not much to do with our competence, but also a lot to do with our mindset. How do we view ourselves? And this mindset that Black women have to help people. And so in order to do that, that means we have to, do stuff for free. Doesn't make sense. Again, I'm not like, you can serve people, but I serve from my overflow, not from my cup. Like, I'm not giving you the water I need to drink to survive. I'm giving you the excess that I have because I've properly filtrated what I got. Like, we need to only serve from our excess. And I'm going to tell you guys a story. This is going to be controversial, but I'm going to say it anyways. And it's controversial because most of us just don't have real talk about this stuff. I have a mentor, older guy. He's white, older white male, older white heterosexual male. I say that to say he has all the benefits of society, what most people would think would be all the benefits of society. And he sat me down one day. I was working at a law firm. At this time, I was probably, I was making $250,000. I was maybe 25 or 26. I was young and he was my mentor. And I was talking to him because he had made he was the second highest paid partner in the firm's history, I believe. And so I'm talking to him one day and I'm like, yeah, I want to do this for the community. I want to donate to this organization. I want to donate to that organization. When I negotiated my job salary, I actually negotiated in that they would donate to the Black Women Lawyers Association. And I did that because, of course, I want to help people and I want to serve and I want to do all these things. And I was like, well, you got to give a donation here. You got to pay me this much money. I negotiated all that. And he was like, Ashley, why are you so focused on your community? Basically, what he was implying was like, it always intrigues me. I'm going to paraphrase. He was like, it always intrigues me that Black people are so focused on helping their community, but they're never focused on getting rich themselves first. Why don't you just get rich? You're smart. You have the ability to do it. You're here. You're literally the only Black woman here in the department. Why don't you just get rich, focus on getting money, and then buy the school? And then just buy the block and don't charge them those usurious rates. Just do stuff with the money that'll help people, but you have to get rich first. He was like, you should be focusing on getting rich. He's like, I know nobody else will tell you that, but I'm going to tell you that. It doesn't make sense. You have the ability to do it. Focus on getting rich, get money. I was like, all right, well, that's a good point. And it really shifted my mindset around it because I think that we almost feel guilty for acquiring accolades when we haven't helped everyone else to get the same. But that's not an obligation that you can afford to take on if you want to have impact that extends past your lifetime. So if you want impact that extends past your lifetime, you have to get paid. Now, in terms of the positioning, how do you position yourself? One, you're going to need the confidence to lead them through to paying you. People follow leaders. If no one is following you to the purchase line of whatever you're selling, it's because you're not leading them there. If you don't lead people through your process, then they will do whatever they want with their dollars. So if you're going to lead someone through a process, what does that look like? That looks like having a very clearly defined role, a very clearly defined call with them. When you get on the phone with the company, you should have a script. I think we talked about this the other day. That script should lead them through the buying process. At least 5 times before I even say my price, I'm getting them to agree and to say yes. We're co-creating vision along that process. This is stuff that we cover in the Speak Your Way to Cash Academy. So if you're interested in applying for the Speak Your Way to Cash Academy before we start in January, then you want to text apply to that same number. Just text apply to 312-847-4590. But you want to lead them through that process, and you have to make sure you're talking to the right people in the organization, because if you aren't talking to the right person, it's very possible that all of the things that you do, even if they're right, even if they're well positioned, won't work. The other thing, when you talked about LinkedIn, you want to make sure that your signature speech, your secret sauce is front and center. And there's a very clear way to work with you. So on LinkedIn, for people who have multiple audiences, I have a section on my LinkedIn that's like how I help companies, how I help coaches, how I help business owners. It's like different sections and it's bulleted. This is how I help who, So you want to make that really, really clear on LinkedIn, but it's not the LinkedIn. The other thing you said that I wanted to help everybody with, relationship building. I've been building a relationship. I haven't really been selling. This is another thing that, some people may like, some people may not, but I'm going to just tell y'all the truth. So if you're in here and about to drop a gem, just post, click that plus button at the bottom and invite your friends in, because it's the last day. So we're going all out. It's the last day of the Sunrise Speaker Series. I build relationships with clients, with prospects. I am selling. You know what I mean? I'm building a relationship with you all, but I think sometimes we get so burdened by that whole, let me build a relationship first, let me not sell, that we feel guilty about selling before we've built a relationship. Now, what you need to do is, even in your pitch, your initial contact with a prospective client, a prospective buyer, you need to add value, right? But it doesn't mean I need to become your bestie before I ever make you an offer. All of you in here have been made it, I've made an offer. I said, you can join the academy, but I've also given value, and it's our first interaction. Many of you will make many of you will buy something today, right? You'll buy the course, or you'll do something. Even if you don't do the academy, which is a higher investment, you may say, all right, but I'm going to take the Speak Your Way to Cash course. We actually gave out, if you text Sunrise to that same number, we gave out the 20% discount code on the course. And a few people yesterday took the course. One person came up, gave a testimonial, says she already got a 4-figure engagement from taking the course. But I don't know every single last one of you personally. So I think we need to get out of that mindset. And this is what people teach that I think have a whole lot of time and money to spare. Yeah, you want to build relationships, but to be honest, you're not building relationships if the goal of building the relationship is to get their money. That's not authentic anyways. What you want to do is add value to people that are going to buy things from you so that they can trust that you can provide the transformation that they need. You can add that value in the first email by doing something like when I pitch to people in corporations, I send them something that's like, hey, see you on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect. By the way, check out my TEDx talk. You may find it valuable based on what you do in the marketplace. So I'm sending them something with value from the jump. They're going to watch it, and I can tell if they click the link and actually watch the video. For the people that actually watch the video and click the link, now I follow back up because they know who I am. They know that I can speak well. They know all of these things about me. And so the next question is hey, I'd love to chat more about this. I help companies to do X, Y, and Z. I saw that your company is dealing with X, Y, and Z. Do you mind we have a 15-minute chat about that? about how I can help you with that problem. So we're getting to the money conversation quickly. I'm not sending them 15,000 articles first. I'm not doing all of that. Sometimes I'm inviting them to an event that's complimentary in their field. And then at the end of that event, I'm asking them, do they want to take the next step? Because think about it from I don't know how you process buying things, but for me, I don't like when people on Facebook send me a message and it's like, hi. Like, girl, are you trying to sell me something? What you want? Like, what are we talking about here? I don't like that. I feel like it's disingenuous because at the end of the day, they're not trying to build a relationship with me. They're just trying to like say enough niceties before they make the pitch for me to not feel like they're being sold to. And I'm also not that person that posts like those little statements on social media like, oh my God, don't DM me. Who are y'all DMing me? Blah, blah. Like, that's stupid. It's sales. You don't want to be sold, don't buy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not that person. Some people are, they're like, this girl DM me and they screenshot it. Like, that's petty. The woman owns a business. She tried to sell you. You didn't buy it. Move on. Like, who really has time to do that? I think it's just, I think it's in poor taste and I think it doesn't understand sales. That said, my background, inside sales. I would make 150 calls every single day to people I did not know to sell them stuff over the phone. And between 1.5 and 3% of those people would buy every single day. So I know for a fact that you can make an entire career and money by DMing and selling and calling cold people. I don't think it's the most effective way to do it. It doesn't have the highest conversion rate, but it is a way to do it. And so that's why I don't critique the way people sell. I either buy or I don't, but I prefer for people to just hit me up like, hey, I want to, I heard you talk about this. I want to sell you this. What you think? And I can look at the website and make a decision because I'm busy and that's what it is. But a lot of people are busy too. These corporations are busy too. So don't think you got to build a whole relationship and all that other stuff. You need to actually get paid. You want to add value, but that doesn't mean build a relationship over like all these years of time that may or may not be fruitful. Okay. So that was a long way to answer your question. Hopefully something in there was helpful before I went on the soapbox, Marquita, but summing it up, you're the CEO. You need to get the bag. I have a special place in my heart for therapists because like in my life, therapy has been so transformative. And I wonder like, why doesn't she just charge me more? Like this is good stuff. I've gotten more from therapy than like some coaches that I've paid thousands upon thousands of dollars to. So, therapy, life coaches, like my friend's life coach, I've literally watched how her life coach has transformed her life. So I love working with therapists and life coaches and just helping you all realize how valuable you are to the market by repositioning. But yeah, keep changing lives, but also get the bag.
All right. Wasn't that interview amazing? If you're anything like me, you have pages full of notes. But here's the thing. Before you head out, I want you to go to facebook.com and join the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group. That is where I am. That's where a ton of other speakers are, a ton of other people who listen to the show. We all congregate there and chat. And it's 100% free. Now, if you're ready to take your speaking career to the next level, I have 2 ways for you to do that. One, you can go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com/SYWTC live replay and pick up the live replay. That training is 7 modules, chock full of information. It's crazy. Go over there, read all about it. Or if you want a more personal experience, you already know that you want to be a speaker. You're ready to fully commit and you want someone to walk you through it and save you tons of time Googling and doing it on your own, then book a VIP day with me. You can go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com, scroll down until you see the VIP day section and get more information on that there. All right. Thank you guys again for watching. Please do not forget to leave us a review. That is how we keep this train rolling and get some of the best speakers in the world to get on this show. So please, please, please leave a review. Shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram, and Facebook in the Speak Your Way to Cash group, Instagram at The Ashley Nicole Show. And I'd be more than happy to chat with you and say hi. All right, y'all have an awesome, awesome day.